Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Eurocycle Sonoma, where today we finally have our hands on a 2021 Zero SRF Premium with the expansion battery tank. Now last year, I actually really enjoyed this bike out with the 2020 model, but we have the expansion tank, which gives us a little bit longer range. We have a little bit quicker charge time, and this color is just phenomenal. I actually really like this mint green color. Now, my question really to you is this the Hyper Naked that we've been looking for? Let's get a look around the bike, let's get it out on the road and see how this new SRF Premium with the expansion tank does out on the twisties. All right, well, first I have to give it to Zero. The styling of their bike has just, I don't know what it is about this maybe this color, but I'm actually really digging this year bike. Now, let's start up in the front and some of the pros and cons. Now, we have a full LED front headlight. One of the things that kind of is a little odd is that we have incandescent bulb blinkers. I'm not sure why for $25,000 we don't get LEDs, but I don't know, that's maybe something we can swap out. But heading down to the brakes, we've got the Juan braking system with the Showa front suspension and 320 millimeter dual rotors, so braking is not going to be an issue. And now they made it very clear that they have cornering brake control, I'm assuming cornering APS, which is very nice to see. One of the big things that I see on tires is they've gone with the Pirelli Diablo Rossa 3 120s, obviously in the fronts, and then in the rear we've got the 180 5517. This battery pack is the 14.4 standard battery pack, but it does have the expansion tank pack in there. That expansion tank pack, just FYI, is almost a $3,000 option. So if you're looking for the premium, which we have here with the expansion tank pack, you're looking at almost $25,000. But with that price tag, we get 140 pound-feet of torque. We get about 110 horsepower out of these batteries in this motor. Charge premium, the charge time that the optimal charge time they say is about 80 minutes, which really isn't that bad. And you get obviously the nice cushy front seats and rear passenger seat with the pegs. We are dealing with a belt drive, which is something you don't see too much. Again, back to the suspension, Showa, fully adjustable for the front and rear, non-electronic suspension, so no electronics in there. But I will tell you, the gauge cluster just looks very nice. Once this thing fires up, you'll see the Zero logo comes up. And the instrument panel is very nice, kind of tells you we got our range, our battery power, what mode we're in, motor temperatures. So we'll see all this in a minute, but very clean, very simple controls. There's not much to it. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the Zeros, we've got brakes, but we do not have any clutch. So that's always the thing for me, is you're gonna see me today grabbing that clutch, but just, I don't know, just something about this bike today just looks great. So let's get it out on the road and let's see how this God, it's just crazy to think 140 pound-feet of torque with 110 horsepower. This might be my next Hyper Naked. All right, guys, here we are with the Zero SRF Premium with the big dog tank battery, in addition to the 14.4 battery that comes standard in the standard bike. But of course, this has got the upgraded battery. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring that bell notification, because today we've got some reviews all over the place. We've got the Zero, we've got an adventure bike, we got an old Royal Enfield, and we're on the Super Veloce today. So make sure you guys subscribe and watch some of my other reviews that are coming out recently. But today We're on the new 2021 Zero, and it's always a joy to get on the Zeros because they're such a cool bike to be on. So it's always new to me to be able to get on these things because, you know, I'm always grabbing for the clutch, so you guys will always see that. And we've got some great the instrument cluster on the 2021 is very intuitive, a little bit hard to get into and understand the menu and mode button. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's just get out on the open road and see. I want to hit the starter button already, but we're ready to go. So we are, that's it. It's very anticlimactic. So I will say this with this bike, and the first dislike I will say, and I'll get it out of the way, the sound, the not having a sound of a motorcycle is just one of the large dislikes I have towards the electric bikes. I just absolutely, Zachy baby, I absolutely love the sound of motorcycles. And if you guys know, I've got some very loud motorcycles. So to be able to get on this thing, and it's just, it's so different to be able to get on these things. So, but I like the numbers that this thing can produce and what this thing has behind it. The electric motor with the premium battery pack has pretty decent range. Now we're at 87% battery right now, and we've got let's see, it's got a range range meter somewhere on here, so I apologize, but it gives us 87% battery. We've got the external temperature, motor temperature, our wheel mile, and our speedos in the middle, obviously. And then we also have, if you look on the outside of it, it actually gives you kind of a throttle view of where my throttling is. And it also gives me, I believe, the braking. No. But we're in full sport mode, and we're gonna get out on the freeway and turn this thing up just a little bit on the freeway. But the main reason I wanted to get on this thing was really out on the twisties, because I haven't had a chance to get on this thing really in the twisties. Now, I said in the intro, is this the ultimate hyper naked? Now, we're dealing with 145 pound-feet of torque, which is like, you know, almost 50 pound-feet of torque more than most of the other hypernakeds. Most of the other hypernakeds are, you know, 80s and 90s of the torque, but they've got hundreds more horsepower. My Ducati has twice the horsepower of this thing, but does it matter? Does it really matter? Now, in a straight line, yes, this thing only does like 145 max miles per hour, so it's not a very high-speed motorcycle. But I think this thing would take my Ducati 0 to 100, no questions asked, because it gets going pretty damn quick. Is clutch. The sound is a unique sound, to say the least. And the fact that, you know, again, the clutch and the shifting, you know, obviously there's no shifting needed. It's basically a single stage motor, so it doesn't have any of the shifting requirements, which is nice. So if you're around town, you know, it's kind of a, I said this on the SRS motorcycle, it's kind of a good beginner motorcycle because there's not much to it. You don't really have to learn to ride a motorcycle. You have to learn, obviously, balance, which is pretty easy to learn. And you have to learn body position, but that's obviously, again, another easy thing to kind of learn. But the power and the shifting with today's motorcycles, they make it very easy with the quick shifters up and down. But Zero's made it even easier without any shifting. So we have an instant wheel mile. I'm not sure if this is a range meter down here, which is basically giving us, I don't think so. I think it's a kind of a revolutions per minute, almost like an RPM gauge for the wheel. I'll have to look that one up. It's the only thing I don't understand quite about is this, what this instant wheel mile is. But everything else is pretty self-explanatory on this. So the mode button, obviously we can push and hold the mode button and go through our different modes. So we've got street mode, we've got eco mode, we've got rain mode. So if we get into eco mode, you know, it's going to give us a lot less throttle response, a lot easier, more linear power. It's not as much of an animal. Oh, I didn't push. I think we have to push, hold, push over into our eco mode, then pushing. There we go. So there. So now, you know, now it's just kind of our maximum battery mode, so to speak. Now with the new battery pack in the tank, so a little larger tank, I think, it feels larger. Still not bad on a charge time. I think an optimal charge on this is about 80 minutes, which really isn't that bad if you think about it. But we're gonna wanna kick this thing up when we get up here just a little bit, get into the performance mode, because we're gonna head up into the twisties and see how this thing does. So let's go push and hold mode. Let's get over into street, over into sport. And now we're in full sport mode. So now we're dealing, now we've got beans, baby. We've got the beans. So we're gonna head up Mark Springs Road. So we will resume this here in just a quick minute. All right, we're cruising out here in the mountain twisties. And, you know, I will say from a dig, this bike is pretty good with the power restriction from a stop. It doesn't give you it all. It's manageable, if that makes sense. It's really when you get up into speeds where that 145, you know, torque really comes into play. It's not from the get-go, and Zach said something to me a little bit earlier that's, you know, that people get on these and they'll wheelie and loop these things because they're so powerful. I don't know. I don't really feel that way on this bike. I feel like it's good. The power delivery is nice. It's linear, right? So it's smooth, but it's got it if you need it. So that's what's nice. The brakes are actually really good, and for a brake that, little backstory. I believe I'm telling the correct story. Is that there are actually some the J1 is a guy that builds brake systems for MotoGP or something like that. So he's not a very known. Obviously, you guys know of Brembo and whatnot. The J1 system is a fairly new system, but a very nice system. The suspension is fairly decent. We've obviously got an analog adjustable suspension. So I would like to get my hands on one of these things and really get it adjusted right, and then get it out on the twisties and see how far I can get on a battery. Because the 200 miles that it claims, I wonder how much I could get out of that battery. Now, my normal Berryessa loop from my house all the way back looped back to my house is about 128 miles, I believe, is the total range. So I'd be interested to see if I could get that on this bike out on my normal ride. Now, that's the big question is, will it go that far? And a lot of people complain about the range. I'm not sure that, you know, I would say that I'm not really riding over 200 miles personally. I'm not riding over 200 miles per ride. So I don't know that it would matter to me, but obviously it is important because how do you fuel this thing back up, right? How do you get charge back in here? Do you carry the charger? And if you do, is it a standard 110? So, you know, stop for a cup of coffee. Now you got to find a plug. Is the plug long enough? Can you reach to the charge port? So there's a lot of still what ifs on electric bikes. And one of the biggest what ifs is, what if you get stuck somewhere? What do? Someone's got to bring you a gas powered generator to charge your battery? So there's still a lot of questions to the batteries. And as much as I really want to love this bike, I don't, because I don't get things like sound, and I don't get things like, you know, I don't know, the shifting's about riding a motorcycle. I don't really feel like I'm on a motorcycle. This definitely doesn't feel like a hyper naked. It just feels okay. It feels like I'm just out for a Sunday ride. And that's fine. I don't mind it. But you guys know how I ride, and if you don't, watch some videos of some of our Berryessa rides, because, well, we get a little bit. So, now, we're gonna stop up here and do a quick little walk around. But we've used about 10% of the battery already, which seems like quite a bit for the little miles that I've gone. So I don't know. I'm tossed up about it. Now, I talked about that motorcycle manufacturers are starting to kind of get into better and better warranties. I will say this has probably got the best warranty available out of all motorcycles. A 5-year unlimited mile warranty. 5-year warranty. Now, you've got a price tag of $25,000, $26,000. So is that warranty justifiable? I don't know. But let's get up here and let's do a final little walk around, and then hopefully I'm going to give you guys a little bonus rip back where I won't do any talking. I'll just do some riding. But let's take a final look around this thing. We've got, obviously, our key is still on, so we've got LED taillights. Again, I'm bothered by the incandescent bulbs. Why didn't we get LEDs for $25,000? The tailplate eliminator, that's easy. We can just unbolt that thing and, well, figure out a plate. For you guys that don't know, the charging port is right here, so it's kind of in a somewhat of a convenient spot. But do we carry our charger with us? It's a big thing. They put some pretty decent tires on the Rossa 3 tires, so very nice, decent tires. And just the look, it's such a cool looking motorcycle. I don't think it's for me. But I'd like to have one. I'd like to get my hands on one of these for a long-term review. So, Zach, Zero, let's get this thing out in some hands for a long-term review. I would love that. But let's get on this thing and let's actually run through real quick the mode menus. So if you push and hold at idle, get into the back menu. So we're going to push and hold. Oops. So this is where it got a little confusing because, see, now we want to No, it doesn't. There we go. So we get in our preferences, and we can go down to our battery preferences and our performance. So our estimated range is 61 miles. So I'm not sure, 73, you know, so it's obviously guesstimating how we've been riding it. So unplugged, not charging. So let's get out of here real quick. So this is where this menu really could use another toggle, because it's how do you get out of this thing? This is the frustrating part, is the mode button. So I just flipped this thing back, but I won't go through all the modes again. It does have heated hand grips, which I found if you do push the left hand button over, you can go, and we've got a three mode, low, medium, high, and off. And I don't know. Leave me a comment down below if you guys own Zeros. Let me know what you guys think. It does have cruise control. That's also nice. But let's go and let's try to get you guys a little bonus ride. Let's get a little bonus ride on the way back. Hopefully I can get this thing wound up a little bit and give you guys a nice little ride. No traffic yet. No traffic yet. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Well, that quick little rip, about a 3-minute ride just through the twisties, depleted the battery almost 10% more. So we're at 63% battery. So a little, I can see this thing would go pretty quick on my ride. So, and it's just, for me personally, somebody that really enjoys the sound of a motorcycle in the efforts of riding a motorcycle, the shifting. I'm missing that on this bike, and I really wish that this bike did more for me personally. I think this bike would be a much better, more city, more urban bike. I'm not sure that I would enjoy this bike out on the twisties, but I don't know. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me how crazy I am not to love this thing more than I do. For the price tag, I need a little bit more love into this thing. The horsepower just isn't quite there for me. The torque is there, but it doesn't, the bike does a very good, it regulates that torque very well, that it doesn't really feel like 145 pound-feet of torque personally. But again, reaching for the clutch. So I don't know, leave me a comment down below, but I appreciate you guys viewing the new Zero SRF Premium with the extended battery pack in it. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I should try to get one of these for a long-term review, maybe we'll talk about that in the future and see what kind of battery life we can get out of this. But thank you guys for sticking around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring that bell notification, because we've got some beautiful test rides coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. But let's see what this thing can do getting up onto the freeway real quick.